This series of training manuals that you'll be watching are designed for inmates of Ikoyi Correctional Center. The instructions are part of the Informal Justice Court project of ASCAP in partnership with the Lagos Public Interest Law Partnership and the Lagos State University. The instructions present skills and techniques in basic acting, voice and speech, improvisation, role-playing, music making, and of course, set design to enable participants to tell their stories and act them out with very minimal theater tools. The aim is for us to prepare them for their appearances in court, where they have confidence and understanding of what the justice system is and how the court works in Nigeria. Sit back and enjoy them. My name is Tunji Aziz. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. This is the improvisation class. What we'll be doing today is to take us through the process of improvisation, what it means, and how it can be employed in the theater for a performance. First and foremost, let me clear our minds that improvisation is not something as bogus as it sounds. It's a very simple thing. It is an everyday practice that is so ingrained in us that we're very used to it, and we don't even notice that we do it all the time. Every human being, we all improvise from the moment you wake up, because what we're going to say now is to let you know how improvisation comes into being. Why do we need to improvise? When you improvise, it means you are doing something you did not plan. You are doing something on the spur of the moment. You are making an impromptu decision. And when you do these things, the likelihood of improvisation rearing its head is very, very high. So I give us examples of improvisation in everyday life. Take, for instance, you leave your home to go to any destination of your choice, maybe your office, your workplace, or the markets. And on your way, you meet an event that you did not plan. And you decide to take another route to your destination. That is improvisation in a form. When you need some materials and the material is not available, and you decide to make do with what is available, you have improvised. But improvisation in everyday life is different from improvisation in theater, because the difference between the two is that in everyday life, sometimes we do not have a choice. But in a stage production, theater, sometimes you make those choices. You have choices, but you choose to improvise. And so I shall be showing us little examples of improvisation, because to be a good storyteller, you must be very good, adept at the idea of improvisation. What I have here is my sunshade. And I have a face mask. You know. All of this that I have on can be changed and be used in various forms in the theater, because theater is make-believe. And there's a rapport between the spectator or the audience, those who are listening to you, those who have come to see you. There's a rapport, an unspoken rapport between the two parties, the performer and the spectator. And so everywhere that comes in to see a performance has come there to see something they are hoping to believe. They want to hear a story. So whatever you show them, they are willing to suspend their disbelief of who you are. And so what you present to them is what they accept. So let's take that at the back of our mind, that is a taken. I've got my sunshade, and I need to make a phone call, and I don't want to use a phone, not because I don't have a phone. Of course, if I don't have a phone on stage, I can use whatever material is available. But at the same time, like I said earlier on, you may have a phone, but you've decided to improvise to make your story more interesting. So I take off my sunshade, and I dial the number I'm supposed to dial, and I make that call. Hello. Yes. Okay, tell them to pay it into my account. Just tell them I'll come in a few minutes' time. He said, what? Oh, that's very nice. All I've done so far so good is to improvise. There was nobody on the other side of the line, and you can see it is just a sunshade. If an accident happens or I need to wear a bandage over a part of my head and we decide not to use one, this nose mask, face mask, can become a bandage in the way it is used, like that. So this part of, and I need to support this, what I've done, with some action. So I must show that pain or reflect, let the audience see that I'm going through some kind of pains because of this bandage. This is a mere, it's something you can use to sieve. It's like a basket, a plastic basket. But I can turn it into a cap and become a chief. And so now I have a cap on. All of these are just to show you examples of how materials can change into a new form, because that's what improvisation means. It means making a new thing out of what you already have or what is non-existent. Now, another example of how we can improvise is, for instance, if I need to show a vehicle, this chair can become a car, and I'm sitting on it, and with my sunshade on, this becomes my steering, and I can drive. I can change the car to a bike. So this is my helmet on my head and my sunshade, and zoom, I move on and on and on. All of this is to help my story. To be a good storyteller, you must be adept at the practice of improvisation, which is how you convey your story convincingly, so that whatever the audience sees, whatever you call whatever you're holding, is what the audience will see, because it is taken for granted that they are willing to suspend their disbelief. But I cannot call this a phone and then use it like I'm using a paddle. For instance, right behind me here is an umbrella. The traditional use of an umbrella is to protect us from heavy rain or excessive sunlight. But this umbrella can become so many things if we want to. That is to say that whatever material is available for you is good enough to tell your story. The aim of improvisation is that you must have an aim behind your mind, and then you walk towards those aims. So this beautiful umbrella becomes a gun if I want, or it can become a paddle if I'm a fisherman, like that, like that. So making use of materials that are known for something and turning them to something else is improvisation. Improvisation can also happen in storytelling. So it is about how you comport yourself. For instance, if you imagine that we're in a court and we need to relate our story, you don't want to go to the court and be found guilty. You want mercy. You want to be left off the hook. So you put all your emotions into whatever you're doing and search for that truth. I make the sunshade. When I turn it into a phone, that is my truth. And I must convince anybody listening to me or watching me that I'm speaking to somebody on the other side. So your truth must be conveyed convincingly. So for instance, if we're in a law court and we need to present our case before a jury, we find a way to present our case in such a way that it is acceptable and can give us the results that we're expecting. That is where improvisation comes to the fore. Improvisation, if well handled and well presented, can save lives, can save situations. So like I said before, it comes with an aim. What do you want to achieve? You go to a courtroom, do you want to go there and leave the place free, or you want your offense to be sustained? It depends on how you tell the story. So it's about your aim. Now, when you know your aim, You follow up on your aim with confidence. You cannot say, for instance, that I'm innocent, let me go. You cannot say, I'm innocent, let me go. If you want to incite sympathy from the people you are presenting your case to, you may want to go, I'm innocent, let me go. And then you present your case in a convincing way. Improvisation can save lives, can save situations. You have to have an aim. And with that aim, you must have confidence. And how do you, for example, exhibit that confidence? Is by looking straight into the eyes of the people you are talking to. Because Yoruba people will say, Oju loro wa, that the statement is in the eyes. So if your eyes are shifty like that, it already conveys some psychological information of deception. You do not want to lie to your lawyer. You want to answer the questions you are asked convincingly and truthfully. But do not rely on what you assume is your innocence. Rely more, because it's a case, it's a court case. And it's a question of how you are able to convince those that are trying your case. That is what your life depends on. So improvisation can save lives if you handle it carefully. Like I said, it's what we do every day. In everyday life, you improvise. From the time you wake up till the time you sleep. Sometimes you want to sleep and there's no pillow, and you make do with some other clothes or a book and put it below your head and put your heads on it. It becomes a pillow. You have improvised. That's real life. But for performance, which is what you do, every time you have somebody in front of you, it is a performance. When you're alone, you may not be performing, but when you have people watching you, whether on stage or anywhere else, it's a performance. So you have to convey your aim with confidence. Every encounter is a form of storytelling. And to be a good storyteller, you must be able to improvise. Till we meet again for our next session together, where we shall be having direct interaction. My name is Segun Adefila, and this is the Informal Justice Court Project by ArtSCAP.